Welcome back. You're watching Live from Paris on France 24. It's time now to find out what the journalists here in France are all twittering and talking about. Here to do that tonight is Shona Bhattacharya. Good evening to you, Shona. With Media Watch now. Let's talk about François Hollande. He's unveiled his campaign pledges, his manifesto, if you will. I expect there's been a lot of reaction to that.
Right, exactly. Well, first, Hollande, as you said, unveiled his campaign today. That's about 60 proposals that he unveiled in a 41-page booklet made from recycled paper, of course. Now, in the next few weeks, party members will be distributing around 15 million copies of those proposals to the general public. Now, on Sunday, Hollande catapulted himself into the presidential race with a 90-minute speech, and so he wanted to make sure to keep up that momentum today as he unveiled those policies. So, first, unfortunately, my technical support isn't being very supportive today, but French daily Le Parisien leaked quote-unquote leaked the socialist candidates' proposals after announcing them in person. Hollande will be debating them tonight with Foreign Minister Alain Juppé on...
One by one, all 60 of them?
I'm not sure about all 60 of them, but actually he has already gotten a bit of flack for them. So some articles are saying that he hasn't actually proposed much, that a lot of words like salary or like competition, either they didn't ever come up into his campaign proposals, or they were only mentioned once, and that they say they were pretty weak in general. On the far left, they're saying they're pretty weak, the proposals. On the right, Sarkozy's men are saying that a lot of the proposals, or some of the proposals, actually exist already, like a government-owned investment fund. So to be fair, we are in campaign season, and picking apart those policies are fair game.
Now, 60 is an important number for François Hollande, because that's, of course, the number he wants to reduce the retirement age back to.
That's exactly one of the proposals, exactly. Another proposal that, remember, Sarkozy is the one who moved it back up to 62. Another one of his proposals is to... let me see. To raise taxes for the wealthy, to target youth unemployment, things like that.
Okay.
There's another thing also about Hollande I wanted to mention. Now, yesterday, my colleague James was talking about a mysterious Shakespeare quote. Right.
It's been tracked down, I understand.
It has been
tracked down. It was Shakespeare, but not the bard himself. It was another Shakespeare.
Exactly, not himself, but his descendant, Nicholas Shakespeare. Now, the Telegraph dug up the actual quote. Hollande had said that he quoted Shakespeare saying, "They failed because they did not start with a dream," but that's actually not from William Shakespeare, as you said, but from Nicholas Shakespeare from a 1989.
Slightly less well-known.
Slightly less well-known, but slightly more recent as well, from a book published in 1989 called The Vision of Elena Sylves. So that was embarrassing, but...
very embarrassing. You can imagine someone was getting a bit of a telling off over at
though
campaign
he never
headquarters.
said it was William.
That's true.
In his credit.
That's true.
Whether he knew or not.
You've got to give him credit for that at least. Okay, let's move on to something else then. There's an article that's created quite a controversy among African Americans.
In French Elle magazine, exactly. On their website, an article basically talked about the renaissance of black style, which, as the journalist says, has become more and more of an open issue as an issue that's in vogue, if you'd like, since the Obamas have been in power in the White House, and Michelle Obama being seen as a style icon, etc. But there were several sentences in that article that were really highlighted for their racism. At one point, the journalist writes that with the Obamas in the White House, being chic is finally an option for African Americans, for people for whom streetwear used to be the only norm.
Oh dear.
That's a big blunder right there. Right. Or again, that the Afro community has finally integrated white style. I mean, these are just huge taboos. And now the journalist who wrote the article based part of her arguments on a New York Times article that talks about a Black Renaissance, except that in the idea of Renaissance, it's something that existed in the past and throughout time and history in the last few centuries, but that now is getting a comeback. But that doesn't mean that it never existed in the first place.
I guess the criticism is lumping together people like Michelle Obama and Beyonce, and they don't have the same style at all, do they?
Exactly. She's putting the whole African American community in one lump. She's making a lot of faux pas there in that article, which was pulled out from the website, and Elle has apologized for it.
Okay, we'll have to leave it there. That's Media Watch France. Shona Bhattacharya, thanks very much indeed for joining us. Okay, it's time now for web news, and we're beginning tonight in Syria, where there's been more online testimony about the battle for the city of Hama. Take a look.